Good morning, boys and girls. We are on lesson 29, page 115. Make sure you guys are on the correct page. So for problem number 1, it says here, Michelle wants to save $150 for a trip to the Six Flags amusement park. If she saves $12 each week, how many weeks will it take her to save enough money for the trip? So the first thing I want to do is I want to visualize and figure out what is the story to this problem. What am I trying to solve? So what is the story? So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of visualize what the story is telling me. So I'm thinking of a girl, Michelle. So I'm drawing a picture of Michelle. I think this is Michelle. And I know that she wants to save money. So maybe she's putting money into a little piggy bank or a box so that she can save that kind of money. That's what I'm picturing in my head. Now, next thing I know is that she's saving that money for Six Flags amusement park, which is an amusement park where they have roller coasters. So I drew flags to represent Six Flags amusement park. Now she's saving, the money that she's saving is $12 every single week. So I put 12, and that's the money that's going into her little piggy bank that she's saving. Now they're asking me how many weeks. Remember, 1 week is equal to 7 days. So how many weeks will it take her to save enough money for the trip? To figure this out, I am going to divide 12 because I need $12, right? And I'm going to put $150 because that's how much money she needs in order to solve or in order to go to Six Flags. She needs $150. So if she gets $12 each week, how much money will or how many weeks will it take for her to save $150? I'm going to figure that out by dividing. So that's what I'm doing here. I am dividing my problem to figure out what would my answer be. So I'm figuring out how many times first can 12 go into 15. 12 can go into 15 one time because 12 times 1 is equal to 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't need to write that. Bring down my 0. Now I have 30. How many times can 12 go into 30? I know that 12 times 2 is equal to 24. So I'm writing down 24 and I'm subtracting. 10 minus 4 is 6. 3 changes to a 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. I don't need to write that. And I'm going to bring down my 0. How many times can 12 go into 60? 5 times, because 12 times 6 is equal to 60. 60 minus 60 is equal to 0. Now don't forget to bring up your decimal because you need to make sure you're bringing that up or your answer is completely wrong. So it's going to take her about 12.5 weeks, which means 13 weeks to save enough. So it will take 13 weeks to save enough money for her to go to Six Flags. Problem 2. Karen works for 85 hours throughout a 2-week period. She earns $1,891.25 throughout the period. How much does Karen earn for 8 hours of work? So the first thing I'm going to do is I know that she works 85 hours. So this is going to be Karen. And Karen works for 85 hours. That's a lot of time, right? So imagine that, 85 hours. I'm picturing that, drawing it out so it helps me figure out what's going on in the story. And then she earns, for 2 weeks, she earns 85. She works for 85 hours. She earns $1,891.25 throughout this period. How much does Karen earn for 8 hours of work? So to figure that out, I need to make sure that I am first representing 85 hours. This is 85 hours right here. But I need to figure out how much is 1 equal to. This is what I'm figuring out right here. To find that out, I'm going to divide $1,891.25 by 85 hours. Because then I'll figure out how much she is making. So 85 cannot go into 1, 85 cannot go into 18, but 85 can go into 189. How many times can 85 go into 189? I'm going to multiply 85 times 2 and see if that works. 5 times 2 is 10, 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So 2 works. 170 is extremely close to 189. 9 minus 0 is 9. 8 minus 7 is 1. Don't forget to bring down your 1. 85 can go into 191 the same amount of time. So I'm going to use 170 again. 1 minus 0 is 1. 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. Don't forget to bring down your 2. How many times can 85 go into 212? It's going to be the same amount again. 170 subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 11 minus 7 is going to give me 4. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Now I'm going to bring down my 5. I have 425. I'm going to try 85 times 5 and see if that works. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 2 is 42. So that one works, and I have 425. Subtract, and that gives me 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal. So that means that it's $22.25, but now I need to multiply that times 8 because we're figuring out how much is 8 hours, not just 1 hour, so 8 hours. To figure that out, I'm going to multiply $22.25 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Okay, don't forget to move your decimal over twice. So your final answer is $178 that she makes for 8 hours of work. So she makes $178 for 8 hours. Okay, now you're going to turn the page. We are working on problem number 3. Problem number 3 says the area of a rectangle is 256.5 meters squared. If the length is 18 meters, what is the perimeter of the rectangle? To find the perimeter of a rectangle means that you're adding all sides. Okay, so I know that it is a rectangle. So I drew a rectangle, and I know that the area is 256.5 meters square. So I put that in the middle. Now the length is 18 meters. So this is 18 meters, and I just don't know what is the other side. So one side is 18, but I don't know the other side. To find the other side, you are going to divide. So right here, I am dividing. I'm figuring out how many times can 18 go into 25. 1 time. Now I can't subtract 5 minus 8, so I'm regrouping. 15 minus 8 is 7. Bring down your 6. How many times can 18 go into 76? I'm going to try 4 times. So let's see. I'm going to multiply right here. 18 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 is 7. I get 72, which is very, very close. 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. 7 minus 7 is 0. I don't need to write that down. How many times can 18 go into 45? I'm going to try 2. 18 times 2. 8 times 2 is equal to 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So 36 works. I'm going to write that down. 5 minus 6 I cannot do, so I regroup. 15 minus 6 is equal to 9. 3 minus 3 is 0. Don't forget to bring down your 0. How many times can 18 go into 90? I'm going to try 18 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So that perfectly fits into 90. So that means that I use 5 right here. Don't forget to bring up your decimal. You get 14.25. Now, you're not quite done yet because we know that this measurement is 14.25. Now we know what that is. Now, to find the measurements of a perimeter means that you're going to add 14.25. Both of these are 14.25 because they're the same length. A rectangle has the same sides. And then we have 18 meters is going to be on this side. and they are also the same. So I'm adding together 18 meters plus 18 meters plus 14.25